Owners and the players met for the first time in days. But tonight, Donald Fair of the Players Union says he doesn't see a compromise being worked out right now. The big sticking point between the two sides is over salary arbitration. The players want to be able to take salary disputes to an arbitrator after 2 years of seniority. Owners, however, are holding out for the status quo, which requires a player to have 3 years of service before demanding salary arbitration.
In other news tonight, the brutal slayings of an Indianapolis mother and daughter still have authorities searching for suspects tonight. Connie and Lottie Willoughby were murdered sometime yesterday in their home, that is. As News 8's Lisa Tubman tells us, the grisly details of the killings have neighbors fearing for their safety.
Who killed Connie and Lottie Willoughby and why? Marion County investigators are searching for the answer to that question. The victims were found Friday afternoon inside their West Side home. 15-year-old Lottie was found in the kitchen, partially clothed, her hands bound, and her throat slashed. The nude body of her mother, 35-year-old Connie Willoughby, was found in a bedroom, her hands also tied and throat cut. The grisly discovery was made by the victim's uncle, who lives next door.
It was a shock. It's one of the things that you just wouldn't believe would happen.
While the killings have shaken this small neighborhood, residents admit they are no strangers to trouble in the area.
Yeah, my mother-in-law's had her front window busted out 2 or 3 different times. A couple of different car windows have been shattered out. That's about the worst thing I've seen in a long time. I can't figure out who'd want to do something like that.
Investigators have yet to identify any suspects or motives for the killings.
What we are doing is attempt to locate and do some victim background work and find out what these two individuals were doing as far as their lifestyle and the people they came in contact with within the last 2 weeks.
While residents have had some minor trouble in this West Side neighborhood, certainly nothing ever like this. The Willoughby murders have changed the way some in this area feel about their own safety.
Just really nothing you can do about something like this because you don't expect it to happen, and we're going to put deadlock bolts on our doors and things.
While residents secure their homes and wonder who could have done such a thing and why, investigators continue to search for the party who has that answer. On the city's west side, Lisa Tubman, Wish TV, News 8.
And 15-year-old Lottie Willoughby was 3.5 months pregnant. Family members say that she was planning to get married this summer. Autopsy results on both victims are expected next week. Meanwhile, Marion County investigators are asking anybody that has any information about this case to please call 231-8279 or 633-5181.
An Indianapolis man has been convicted of murder and now wants to find out, or waits to find out, if he'll be sentenced to death for the second time. Keith Patton was sentenced to die in 1984 for the shotgun killing of 19-year-old Michael Pack, but the Supreme Court overturned the judge's death sentence. Patton was retried, and today a criminal court jury found him guilty of murder. Marion County prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. A decision could come next week. Well, 19-year-old Phyllis Jean Chandler will not be released from prison early after all. 2 days ago, a Clark County judge granted Chandler an early release from her 2-year prison term, but changed his mind the next day after a Johnson County detention home refused to accept Chandler because of the violent nature of her crime. Chandler was convicted of neglect charges in the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Amber Nicole. The child was killed when Chandler's boyfriend threw her against a wall in Chandler's apartment 2 years ago. Chandler had ignored a court order that said her boyfriend should not be in contact with the child. The boyfriend, William Franklin, 18, is serving 40 years for murder. Phyllis Chandler must now serve out the rest of her term. Her earliest release date could come mid to late summer.
An investigation is underway tonight to figure out who is responsible for bombing a DEA office down in Florida. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration, somebody threw a pipe bomb through the window of its office in Fort Myers, Florida. Nobody was injured in the bombing, but some investigation records were destroyed. However, federal agents report that they do have copies of all the records that were ruined in the bombing. So far, agents do not have any suspects in that case. And fire has destroyed a hardware and retail store tonight on the north side of Columbus, Indiana. At this time, fire investigators say that they're not sure what caused the fire at the Big Blue store. The blaze broke out about 7:30 tonight and completely engulfed the building. All employees and customers were evacuated from the store, and authorities say there were no injuries. Now, at one point, a crackle filled the air as stockpiles of ammunition from the store's sporting goods department exploded. Firefighters are still on the scene of that blaze. Once again, it broke out at the Big Blue department store on the city of Columbus's north side.
And now looking ahead on News 8 this Saturday evening, a time-tested tradition continues in style.
And also coming up, some bad weather down south has brought things to a standstill there. More on that story in just a moment.
Open a whole new world of shopping possibilities at the Fashion Mall.
Honey, the school called again today.
Again?
Tommy's out of control. He's disrupting the class.
He's just a kid. Don't they think he'll calm down?
They think we should have him tested.
I'll talk to him. But shouldn't we give him more time? See what happens.
Don't put it off. Call Charter of Indianapolis today. If you don't get help at Charter, get help somewhere.
Why shop H.H. Gregg's 17-hour sale? There are no payments or finance charges until June on any item you purchase during the sale using Gregg's Charge program. The savings won't last forever because there isn't much time.
For 17 hours only, get this Uniden full-range cordless telephone with built-in speaker. Only $79 for Uniden, only at H.H. Gregg.
Shop Gregg's 17-hour sale Sunday and Monday. Savings like these are here today and gone tomorrow.
The nation's largest and oldest St. Patrick's Day parade headed up Fifth Avenue in New York City today. 125,000 people took part in the parade, with tens of thousands turning out to look on and partake in the festive fun. And if you haven't gotten into the swing of things yet, timing's running out. Just a short time left now on this St. Patrick's Day for 1990.
And as usual, the Irish holiday was celebrated in a big way in Indianapolis. This afternoon at the State Fairgrounds Coliseum, it was St. Patty's Day on ice. The family fun skating party was highlighted with the wearing the green costume party, as well as face painting. Mint ice cream, green popcorn, and green snow cones were just a few of the St. Patty's Day treats on hand, as well at the party.
Well, it wouldn't seem that the luck of the Irish was with hundreds of area students today. They had to wrestle with some very tough mathematics problems, but there is a twist. The second annual Mathematics Day, sponsored by IPS, drew nearly 500 students. Math whizzes competed in 7 levels of arithmetic, including algebra, geometry, advanced math, and calculus. Plaques and medals were presented to the top 3 individuals in each level.
Well, coming up, we're going to check out some different kinds of numbers, like tomorrow's temperatures.
We'll see what that's all about, so stay with us. We'll be right back with the weather forecast.
The Europeans make fine luxury cars. We know Lexus has acquired thousands of them in trades for our Lexus LS 400 in just over 4 months. Check out the rate of exchange at Tom Wood Lexus.
Hey! Time out! Look, this Final Four thing is making you basketball freaks crazy, okay? Well, you got a little hoop hysteria, a little bit of tournament tension churning there in the stomach, hoop head. Well, look, if the game's not going the way you want it to go, don't yell at the TV like a big baby. Do what I do. French Doritos tortilla chips. There's only one left in the bag. There's 2 seconds left in the game. Lionel crunches. He shoots. Yes! Whew. Crunch all you want. We'll make more.
There's no question that a home equity loan has lots of advantages. But you may have lots of questions about your options. If so, get this free, easy-to-understand brochure from your Merchants National Company. Call 1-800-243-EASY, toll-free, anytime. Because nobody makes banking easier than the Merchants National Companies.
You know, at Shoney's, there's only one thing that looks better after dinner than our hot fudge cake. The check. Oh, now I can leave a bigger tip. Betty! This is Italy. This is where they make shrimp scampi. And now Shoney's is making it just like they do here, only better. Oh!
A little town in Alabama is facing some big problems tonight. At least 1,000 people have been evacuated from Elba, Alabama, after the Pea River levee burst this morning. 6 people have been reported killed after the car they were in ran off a back road and into the river. Rescue workers from around the state have been called out and are now heading to Elba to help in the relief effort. Flooding is said to be the worst to hit the area in over 40 years. Not much rain today. That's a serious situation.
Very much so. And we had some unusual weather in the center. I guess really not all that unusual. It's always fairly windy this time of the year, and that was the case today, Tom.
Yes, we did have some wind in the area today, Neil, but it will die down tomorrow, I think, and for the most part, we are going to see some lower temperatures tomorrow, too. Well, we greened up the grass for this St. Patrick's Day with the high temperatures we had earlier this week, and I heard some lawnmowers humming in my neighborhood this afternoon as well. Today's high 54, 42 degrees was the low temperature today. Out at the airport, we did have a trace of rain, and at the 11 o'clock hour, partly cloudy skies with 42 degrees, the low for the day. 30 is the dew point, the relative humidity 62%. West wind at 10 miles per hour, the pressure is 29.92, and it is steady. And you know, this week has been an odd week, a strange week. Well, it has had 7 days here in central Indiana. 7 very mild days, too. Check this out here. Temperatures record highs 4 out of the 7 days this week. 77 on Sunday, 76, 78, 79 degrees on Wednesday. And we've been cooling off ever since. And it will be a little bit cooler tomorrow as well, as we're seeing a high pressure system come in. And yes, even some talk of some snow showers coming in tomorrow night. Yeah, it's got to be getting cooler for that, and we'll look for that in our forecast in just a few minutes. But today, it was still pretty mild with temperatures in the 50s. Notice all the green out to the east. St. Patrick's Day green with the thicker clouds there and the showers and thunderstorms along the Atlantic coast. Here in Indiana, we did have some clouds build up in the afternoon hours. They have faded now in the evening, and it looks as though we will see mostly clear skies the rest of tonight. And getting down to the freezing point, we haven't been there for a while. Low pressure in North Carolina spawning some showers and heavy thunderstorms there with some heavy rains along the east coast. But off to the west, all is quiet for the time being, but we are expecting a weak weather system to develop up to the northwest of us, bringing a chance for those snow showers. Super radar, though, showing plenty of rain along the east coast with, again, those heavier showers and thunderstorms in North Carolina. What's the temperatures look like the next few days? Well, tomorrow we are going to be dropping off into the 40s for high temperatures. We haven't been there in a while. And as far as the high temperatures for Monday, looks like we're going to be tailing down into the 30s. Wow, quite a change as the northwest winds blow. Tomorrow, though, we are going to see temperatures dropping into the 40s with a mixture of sunshine and clouds, and a quick-moving weather system is going to develop up to the northwest of us and bring us a chance for some snow showers tomorrow night. Then on Monday, it should be off to the east, bringing some snows that way. Our skies will clear, but it will be a blustery day. Here's my forecast then for the rest of the weekend. Clear to partly cloudy skies for tonight, the low dropping to freezing. Then for tomorrow, a mixture of sun and clouds, 48 degrees for the high. Then look out, tomorrow night a chance for some snow showers. Sunday night, the lowest temperature about 28 degrees, and on Monday becoming partly cloudy, a high only 38 degrees. In my extended outlook, I think it's going to be dry Tuesday and Wednesday. On Thursday, a chance for a few rain showers, and highs on Wednesday and Thursday back up into the 50s. I don't think you're going to need your snow shovel tomorrow night, but it's still going to be quite a change from last Sunday when we had 77 degrees. I don't like it, Neil and Tina.
Oh, well, it'll get better.
It is encouraging to know that at least we don't have to do much shoveling if we do have snow at all. Thanks, Tom. Well, coming up next, Dick Ray will be here, and he'll have some wild highlights of yet another day of Indiana March Madness.
I'm Jim Barber, and coming up tonight in sports, Ball State's dream season continues.
Whatever you have to sell, no one brings you buyers like the Star and News. Call 633-1212.
M Days are here. The month is March. The cars are Mercury's. The values are here. M Days. Save with $1,000 cash back on Mercury Cougar, $750 on Sable, Topaz, and Grand Marquis, plus $1,500 cash back on Lincoln Mark 7 and Continental, all before you make your best deal. M Days, a multi-million-dollar inventory. The cars, the cash, the deals, only at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. Ends April 2nd.
We're taking 20% off. every day at reliable drugs. 20% off hosiery, cosmetics, and greeting cards. How? We strip it from the profits and we make it up in volume. 20% off every day at reliable drugs.
Can you fix this? What happened to your phone, honey? It got slimed.
Rent your phone from the GTE Phone Mart and get our free repair service.
Who slimed it? My dolly did it. Did your dolly have help? Yeah. My horsey.
Of course, we won't pay for willful destruction, but if your phone gets accidentally slimed, GTE will fix it right away or replace it free of charge.
Give it to your mommy, not your dolly.
Jim, of course, out in Salt Lake, and Dick is in. You know, the high school story almost gets lost in all this college basketball talk,
A
doesn't
lot
it?
of exciting college basketball today.
Give you a hint, it's a good day today to be a Cardinal fan. You know, tomorrow night at this time we'll be telling you about college basketball Sweet 16. Tonight we know 8 of them, and there are a few surprises. A very pleasant one that's been unfolding all week out in Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where Jim Barber has been, and he now joins us live via satellite. And Jim, those Cardinals are going to be around for a while.
Oh, it's a terrific feeling, Dick. You know, you cover the national championship in New Orleans in 1987. You know what emotion is all about, and we saw so much of it today. It is basically indescribable. Right now, the John Huntsman Center, directly behind me in beautiful Salt Lake City, is quiet, sharp contrast to what happened just a few hours ago. Let us show you the historic day's events for Ball State. Ball State's day began with a simple handshake for good luck. It ended with ever so much more.
Has it sunk in yet? You know, I really don't think so because, I mean, we're happy. I mean, everybody in the locker room was in tears and everything.
Could you imagine making it to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament?
No, I always wanted to. A little kid from Muncie, Indiana, and going to the Sweet 16, that's just great for me. My senior year, too, I think it's just great.
The most incredible part of this Ball State victory is this. The Cardinals led from start to finish, never trailed against Louisville in this entire game. Ball State owned and operated Louisville in the first half, playing its typical great defense, hitting the perimeter shots, and taking the game right at Louisville. And least we forget, dominating the boards. Score at the break, Ball State 36, Louisville 23. Second half, Chandler Thompson, quiet in the first half, pushes Ball State to a 17-point lead. But a native Hoosier, Jerome Harmon, brought the bill back. A 14-0 Louisville run, Ball State by only 3, 8:05 to go. But re-enter Thompson with the play of the game.
LeBradford or Jerome, because they call them the dunk of dunks right there. So I told him I would point my finger in their face if I dunked them. And that's the chance I got, so I done it.
Ball State now up 9, but back came Louisville to within 2 with 1:16 to go. Louisville then had a chance to tie or win at the end, but it wasn't to be. Ball State 62, Louisville 60.
See this baby face? You know, this baby face is going to have some gray wrinkles before this one sets in. And that's the way it was for us all day. We didn't shoot the ball well even when we had open shots, and when that happens, you just don't deserve to win. That's just the way it is.
Tarka, you at all surprised that Ball State has made it to the final 16?
Well, obviously we thought we'd play Louisville, but the Ball State players are in the same hotel we are. They told me Wednesday they were going to win these 2 games.
We told you all week long they were an optimistic group, and of course they have come through with the 2 victories. They will take on UNLV, Ball State and Nevada, Las Vegas, Friday night at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum in Oakland, California. You know, Dick, it's interesting. Ball State, of course, has sold a lot of souvenirs, and this is one of them. This is a Ball State T-shirt with the NCAA tournament. Nothing unusual, except when we arrived here Wednesday in Salt Lake City at the Huntsman Center, you couldn't find a Ball State T-shirt. Apparently, they were the only team that didn't have T-shirts on sale. But I think everybody across the country now is familiar with the name Ball State.
Well, Jim, I bet Logo 7 is getting busy right now. Look forward to seeing you out in Oakland, Jim.
All right, thank you, Dick. Nice talking with you.
Okay, good job, Jim. Let's get you up to date now on some other tournament games played today in round 2. As Jim told you, Ball State's next opponent is the running Rebels of UNLV. The number 1 seed staying alive today in the West. Coach Jerry Tarkanian needing a big second half against Ohio State. Larry Johnson leading the charge with 23 points, 16 boards. The Buckeyes go more than 9 minutes without a basket in the second half. It's a 76-65 win for UNLV on to Oakland against Ball State next week. As for Michigan State and Judd Heathcote, a little bit of a scare with Cal Santa Barbara. USCB pulls within 4 late in the game, but they just run out of time, and it's Michigan State holding on to win this one. Steve Smith with 21. That basket did not count, incidentally, but it's a win nevertheless, 62-58 for Judd Heathcote. A bit of a surprise down in Austin, Texas. That's Rick Fox for North Carolina scoring the game-winning basket for North Carolina over Oklahoma. 79-77, the win for Dean Smith. On the board, out east, Connecticut and Clemson are your winners. Out west, as we just showed you, UNLV and Ball State. Moving on to Oakland, it's North Carolina and Arkansas in the Midwest. And in the Southeast, Michigan State and LSU. Incidentally, Chris Jackson will forego his remaining college eligibility. He announces tonight he'll turn pro. With Notre Dame and Indiana out of the tournament, it's now up to Ball State and Purdue to keep the Hoosier flavor alive. Boilers play their second-round game with Texas from the Hoosier Dome live here on Channel 8 tomorrow afternoon. Fred Khalil reports the Longhorns are finally getting recognition for something other than football.
The Texas Longhorns whipped Georgia last night 100-88. But even with the big victory over the Bulldogs and the great season the Longhorns have enjoyed, it's no reason to call Texas a basketball school.
And I don't ever want it to turn into a basketball school. I go to a football game, there's 82,000 people there, and they're all quarterbacks. You know, we move so fast that our fans, they don't know what the hell's going on, or if I should be in the zone or man. And if I stand up and to give a traveling motion, we got 14,000 people doing the same thing. I like that. In New York, I used to coach at Fordham University, and if I didn't cover, I got booed in the cafeteria the next day.
Purdue held off a pesky Northeast Louisiana team to advance to the next round. The Boilers are trying to continue their ride, one that took them to second place in the Big Ten. But Gene Keady knows in order to do that and to stay alive, he will have to call on the same type of grit and determination to advance to Dallas.
Probably everything right now is frosting on the cake. And we know that anybody can beat anybody at this level, and it was nice to get by that first game because those usually are the most uptight ones.
Texas wants a track meet. Purdue would like to run its offense. We'll find out what happens tomorrow at the Hoosier Dome at 2:25. We'll have it live here on Channel 8. At the Dome, Fred Khalil, Wish TV, Sports 8.
Footnote to the NCAA, we told you about LSU and Chris Jackson. Georgia Tech won that game 94-91. Another Indiana college basketball team involved in a national championship game tonight. The DePaul Tigers in the Division III finals taking on Rochester tonight in Ohio. It was a close game tonight for the title. As far as DePaul was concerned, Rochester's Chris Veit pulls up for the two. He had 13 points. Troy Greenlee with 12 for DePaul, but it's Rochester winning. And they hold on to win 43-42, and they win the championship of NCAA Division III. Still more to come on sports on News 8. We'll set the stage for the boys' high school Final Four. Highlights coming up from Hinkle and Terre Haute North. The Damon Bailey was looking for a shot at the Dome.
But he hit a senior-type basket just a moment ago.
Bailey.
More and more people are choosing natural gas appliances when remodeling their homes. That's because natural gas adds comfort and value. Then again, 80% of Indianapolis homeowners already know that. For a free Live It Up for Less kit, call Citizens Gas.
At Dave Mason Buick, we are dedicated to customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction begins with helping our customers buy a car at the best price. With the car business the way it is, old Dave needs the money. That's why he will see to it that you are a satisfied customer. He will see to it that you get your best price at Dave Mason Buick.
Again, this year, one airline is passing all the others. We have 185,000 more departures than Delta, 230,000 more departures than American, and we have 430,000 more departures than United. In fact, U.S. Air has more departures than any other airline in the free world. So if we sound like an airline that's really taking off, you don't know how right you are. U.S. Air, America's most frequent flyer.
What's the big deal? Everybody does it. Look, you can't get hurt if you're careful.
It's nobody's business but mine. Besides, I can quit any time.
Just get it done. I just needed to relax. I'm under a lot of pressure.
Make progress, not excuses. For a free confidential assessment, call Winona today.
Big day for high school basketball around the state, and the stage is set for the Final Four next weekend at the Dome. Let's begin over at Hinkle Fieldhouse by showing you who will represent Indianapolis. It was Newcastle taking on Southport. That's Newcastle in the road green. Tim Haynes hitting the jumper, tied the game early, but this was the William Moore show tonight for Southport. 18 points in the first half. Great reverse layup there. Moore coming up with a steal, and it's a 12-point lead for Southport at the half. Coach Sam Alford concerned as the Trojans trail most of the game, but they pull within 5. Darryl Guffey with the drive, draws the foul, but it was all William Moore. 13 more points in the third quarter. He scores 40 on the game, and it's Southport going on to the finals next week. 82-68 the final. Southport in the Final Four in the Dome. Here's reaction after the game.
They didn't think we was any good. They kept on estimating us. They said we was lucky because we won the county tournament. They said we was lucky because we beat Lawrence North that night, that regional night. And they said Newcastle's going to come out here and play harder than us, and that's not true.
We got a model of our skill with our players, and that's talk's pretty cheap. And, it's what you do when you get there that counts. And our kids have done it when it counted. And we're very happy about this.
Last week, Bedford's Damon Bailey became the state's all-time leading scorer. Tonight, he set his sights on a third Final Four trip in 4 years and a shot at that elusive championship ring. Highlights tonight from Terre Haute. Look who's on hand. IU coach Bob Knight looking at his prize freshman for next season. It was Bossy with the lead early in the game. Andy Elkins, it was a 2-point lead, but Damon comes on strong toward the end, ties the game at 35 right there. 34 points for Damon, and it's a 72-67 win. The Stars coming back to the Final Four.
You know, Coach stayed and watched the game, got a few tapes, watched the tapes, and, you know, he did a fabulous job of getting us prepared for the game. You know, they're super athletes. You know, they shot the ball well, and they're big, and, you know, that made it hard. They really killed us on the boards tonight, and, you know, that's one thing we're going to have to work on.
Anderson, Concord also win, and the Pacers lose their 5th in a row tonight to Cleveland.
Back in a few minutes.
What if, instead of really cleaning all the things that got dirty, you simply vacuumed them? Absurd. You would never do that, right? Except when it comes to your carpet. Vacuuming may make carpets look clean, but Bissell's unique deep cleansing action gets dirt that a vacuum never will. The compact, easy-to-use Bissell Deep Cleaner, the best way to get the most out of your carpets.
Catch the spring fever. Glendale Center, the definition of style.
If you're looking for a small bank with great service, this is one of the best in the state. And here's one of the better mid-sized banks, and this is one of the best-run big banks in the entire Midwest. Of course, just looking at them, you'd say, well, they all look the same. So how do you tell them apart? That's the small one. Or was it that one? No, wait a minute. That's the big one. So where's the mid-sized bank? I had it here a minute ago.
You're looking at months of painstaking planning, years of dreaming, more than a few sacrifices. At Marilat, we know how much time and effort people put into their new kitchens. That's why we put so much time and effort into our cabinets. With Marilat, one sacrifice you'll never make is quality. Marilat. We make dream kitchens come true.
Marilat is available at Drexel.
And we're out of time. I'm Neil Moore.
And I'm Tina Cosby. Dallas and Knots Landing are follow this today.
Hi, I'm Eric Halverson. If you like to walk or run for exercise, then join me Sunday, April 1st for the Sam Costa Run for Shelter. The race will begin and end here in Carmel at Clay Junior High School. There are 3 levels of participation: a children's fun run, a 5-mile walk or run, and a half marathon. When you participate, the money you raise will benefit the homeless and elderly in Central Indiana. For more information and a pledge form, call this number and I'll see you April 1st.